Hi everyone. I haven't recorded in a while because I don't want to talk for the sake of talking. I haven't felt inspired to give a message because I, like everyone else, am waiting for things to move, for things to change, for there to be bold change, action, news. This wait is interminable for all of us who know what's really going on, that the world around us is not as it seems, that the news is literally all fake, that what a preponderance of Americans, conservatives included, believe is not true because we have been lied to so thoroughly by our own government and manipulated by propaganda programs and brainwashing and mind control and media control, and you name it. We've been the recipient of many influences, and yet here we are. Some of us, many of us worldwide, have managed to figure out a lot of the truth. Not all of it. We're still digging, we're still searching, but the hard part is the waiting. And again, how do you stay sane in the midst of all this? I am in New York City. I am alone in many ways in my belief system. I'm surrounded by liberals. I am a former liberal, so all the people from my past are liberals, and there's really nothing for me to talk to about them because their belief systems are so different from mine, and I can't even speak to normal Republicans because they have no faith. They have no understanding that what's really going on is extremely covert, that 80% of what's going on is behind the scenes. Only 20% are we even aware of, and probably not even that much. Understanding that there's more to life than meets the eye is really important. It's why I'm a metaphysician. It's how I was raised, to understand that there are many planes of existence and that what we see in the physical is the tip of the iceberg. This is the least of things, and it's a wonderful realm, and it's a hard realm. It's a realm where you prove yourself, where you figure out how to use a body, how to coordinate body with mind, with spirit, with emotion, with thought. It's a balancing game. It really is. And I know maybe it's in the Bhagavad Gita that the analogy of Arjuna, I may be making this up, or certainly a rider with a chariot with 5 horses is symbolic of the 5 senses. We're not to be led by them. We're to use them. They are tools. But what we're now coming to understand is that the materializing forces of this world, and I don't think they're evil per se. They are materializing. If you want to refer to them as satanic, I think materializing is better. But the heavy forces that drag you down, that want to lure you into sensation only, would have you try things that could get you grievously addicted. I just watched a true crime thing, rewatched it because I do love problem solving, and it turns out that the main audience for true crime stories are women, and I'm like, why would that be? But all I know is I like solving mysteries. I like thinking about things. I like analyzing human behavior. How do people get where they are? And that's from the perp to the victim. They referred to in this one particular story these 5 women that were killed in Ipswich, England, Suffolk, England. They were strangled. They were prostitutes, these women. They were young. One of them, at least, was a mother. And, they kept being referred to as helpless, as vulnerable. And I'm like, I don't believe in victim mentality. I know that the choices we make influence and impact how we experience life. So, when the final victim was described as being helpless and penniless and this and that and the other. And in fact, this young woman had actually been interviewed on camera by a news crew because she was a streetwalker, and there had already been 3 murders. And she's like, well, I need the money, you know. So, okay, certainly there are other jobs you could get besides being a streetwalker, and I know a lot of people in England are on public assistance. But it turns out, her mother says at the end, you know, that her daughter was a heroin addict. So, well, that behavior has very serious ramifications. It's not a healthy habit. It's as likely to get you dead as anything else. And, you know, truly, when you throw your life away in that manner by choosing a habit that is so bad for your body, really, didn't that killer sort of just take her choice to a further level for her? Because she'd already thrown her life away. She didn't care what happened to her body, as evidenced by, I mean, if you saw what this man looked like, I'm like, that's your crime right there, to submit to any kind of touch by this man for money or not. It shows that you have no self-esteem. It's just so gross. But my point is, what is my point? I'm just talking, and you know what? It feels good just to talk again, because I'm doing my best to stay sane in New York City. And again, it's just very clear to me that most people around me who are predominantly liberals are really, really, yes, living in a dream world, but they're really content. They're really convinced that things are good. They're ignoring the inflation. They're ignoring the high gas prices. No one is complaining about Biden whatsoever. Not a one. And, you know, to be surrounded by people who have no clue as to what's really going on is disheartening. It's weird. I refer to this as the zombie apocalypse. I'm still surrounded by many people who are masked. Many of them are double masked, which boggles the mind. Children are masked. Young children are masked. It's surreal. It's surreal, and yes, it's disheartening, because I have a certain level of awareness and really precious few people I can talk about it with. So thanks for listening, you know. You're not alone. Our challenges are unique as individuals. What I'm going through has nothing to do with what anyone else is going through. Even if you're also a conservative, even if you're also a Q person or a metaphysician, you know, no one knows what you're going through but you. And, you know, be gentle with yourself. Try new things to stay sane. You know, the reason I'm recording right now is because someone actually commented on one of my videos that he was having a really hard time. And I'm like, well, so am I. And again, I'm not here to cheerlead and give people hope, because that's not my job. My job is to speak my truth. And if it touches a chord with you and inspires you to take a deeper breath, think a little differently, shift your energy a little, because he did that for me. That helped me, his reaching out to me, and I responded to him verbally via comment. But it also inspired me to come on and record again. And that is a change, since it's been a long time. But what do you say when nothing's going on? That's what it seems like. That's what it feels like. And I think about, excuse me, actual soldiers in war. And this is a war. This is a war for people's minds. And those of us who are fairly awake, it's all relative, you know, have the extreme challenge of being surrounded by people who are sleepwalking, literally sleepwalking. So it's weird at a minimum, it's depressing at a maximum, and, you know, having faith is really important. So your belief system impacts how you're going to experience things. I trust the plan. I trust Trump. I trust Q. Not everyone agrees with that. That's fine. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything, only to share what I believe, because it does resonate with some. And, you know, Bill Barr is coming to the fore again. I've always loved him. He's been considered a baddie by many conservatives for quite a while now, but I never bought it, just because I trusted my gut about him. I like him and I trust him. And it seems that more people are understanding that he's a good guy who's been playing a bad guy for a while. Because we don't know who's really who in this game of spy versus spy, right? Gray, there's a lot of gray area, fog of war. On some levels, none of us know anything, right? The only thing you can know is how to take care of yourself. And these are unusual times. These are amorphous, ephemeral, weird. Let's assume we've never been here before in human history. This is just weird, you know? Is there a president? Are there two? Is this devolution? What's going to happen next? Are we going to have food shortages? Are we going to get attacked? Will there be a nuclear attack? If there is, I believe it will be faux, CGI, Q said scare event necessary, and that's more obvious than ever because I don't know anyone who's awake, except, a few million people online, and there are probably many of us. Who knows how many millions of us there are that are awake? Certainly enough to help facilitate with this great awakening. But anyway, back to the war model, because I was thinking about it. When you are in war, there are many days and times when I'm sure the troops are just sitting around doing nothing, but they at least have other troops with them they can play cards with, how do they get entertained? I have not been a soldier in this lifetime. I've been assured, and it's obvious to me now that I've been a warrior in past lifetimes, and this is a new kind of war, and this requires a new kind of warrior. Spiritual warfare is intense, and it requires a strength of body, mind, and soul. So again, learning that balancing act. I do go to a gym when I feel like it. I never push myself. My body always tells me, it's like a dog who needs to go for a walk. I'm like, I'm feeling it today. I haven't felt it the last few days. Now, last week I actually got sick. I have not gotten sick in a very long time. And all I can say about that, it was a cough, a cold, the flu. It lasted 5 days, and then another 2 days of and of course, it was a cough, a cold, or the flu. I've had those in the past. I don't go to doctors for that. I blow my nose, I get rest, my throat hurt, it was painful. All I could say is on the bright side, it broke up the boredom of being so frustrated at all the waiting, having to take active care of my body, which I did. I always take really good care of myself, but it hurt, all those little things, sore throats and sinus headaches and all that. It's like, ow. And now that I'm feeling better, I'm back to being restless again, but I don't want to get sick again. But my body purged what it needed to purge. And like I say, my biggest challenge is just looking around at a world where people are going to their country homes and renting country homes and buying new homes. And I am in the same place for a very long time. And while my home is a lovely home, I look forward to big change in my life of all kinds, but this is my post. This is all I can say. I am in the middle of New York City. This is an energetic post. It is a hard post, and I am my own commanding officer. I am my own troops. I'm my own chef. I am my own everything, and that takes a lot of discipline to be a one-woman show and to take responsibility for my mental well-being, my emotional well-being, given the constraints of my living situation, which is that I don't get out of the city. I don't. I have a very small radius of action, personal choice, personal reasons, and it feels very frustrating at times to feel landlocked. So, what's the best advice? Make the best of it wherever you are. If you choose to look at the worst of it, and that can be easy at times to just be bitching and complain, you go down the toilet. You energetically go down. That's the law of attraction. What you focus on gets bigger. So even when I'm feeling really frustrated, I'm like, well, at least I'm breathing. At least I'm not sick anymore. Being bored is very frustrating, and finding ways to keep yourself mentally challenged it is a high challenge. So I give myself credit. On the surface, sometimes it doesn't look like I'm doing much. And yet I know on a spiritual level, mentally, what I'm doing, energetically, what I'm doing is incredibly challenging. I don't know anyone else who could do what I'm doing. So give yourself credit for what you're doing. Again, you have to be your own best cheerleader. You have to become your own best expert. You have to become your own best mental health expert. Learn how to take care of yourself. Do not denigrate how hard this time period is for those of us who are waiting for big booms, okay? And there was a message that I saw from somewhere that said, don't worry, it won't always be boring. Someday you'll look back on this time and wish and look back fondly. And I can't imagine that, because I need action. We all need action. We need big bombs. We need truth bombs to drop. And it could be tomorrow. It could be next week. I do believe it makes sense to me that within the next 6 months, I know 2022 is a turning point and we're almost halfway through this year. I truly believe that these midterms, we will see a continued red wave. We already saw it in Texas, right? A district was flipped. A Republican woman, a Latina, got the vote. Unprecedented in her blue zone in Texas. We're going to have more of this. I'm in a blue zone, New York City. I believe New York City's going to flip somehow. New York State. We need radical change. So enough has to come out. Cuomo getting ousted wasn't enough. The cover of the Daily News today was about a Democrat who said he was homesick with COVID, but was actually on an island partying with some celebrity. That came out. That's on the cover. So I believe enough more Democrat corruption has to become very clear. And again, I'm not letting any Republicans off the hook, because most of them are rhinos. So we need corrupt people to be exposed and ousted. What's happening in the interim, okay? More parents are getting actively involved in the school boards. Things are becoming so atrocious and so obviously corrupt and weird and sick in our country that more citizens are becoming actively involved, county by county, street by street, state by state. So that takes time, and that is happening, and I do see evidence of that every day. And while that is gratifying, it's like all these little moves of the pawns in this big, huge chess game. Yes, 3D chess. This country was designed for citizen participation, government of, by, and for we the people. So that is happening. That doesn't happen overnight. So here's another one of my analogies. This is a pregnancy. This is a gestation. This country is gestating. And maybe, the past is prologue. And our country was founded on high divine principles by metaphysicians, by people who were philosophically aware, spiritually aware. Maybe everything that's happened up until this point was designed to happen to give us the medium of experience. And I believe in reincarnation. So it's like death is nothing. We all come back. We all repeat, recycle, and come back. And that's how life is, right? You learn, you do things again. You learn from experience. That's the only way you learn. You don't learn from reading a book. So maybe all the experience of this country was leading up to this moment. And this is the real birth, this rebirth of the country, and this second American Revolution, this mind of the body, this revolution of the mind and the heart, really, and the spirit of this country was made possible by everything that's happened until then. All the churning, all the horrors, all the amazing things Americans have done, right? I like to be philosophical because you have to find an angle on making what's happening work. And philosophy, spirituality, which is unique to each of us, is an angle, right? For some people it's religion, and they like to be, in my mind, told what to think and what to believe and what to feel. And that doesn't work for me. I do pick and choose what ideas resonate with me. And usually when they come from different traditions, they're still very similar ideas with slightly different phraseology. So the truth comes in many forms. So I do believe the next 6 months are going to be pivotal, that we will have big enough booms, that we will have that red wave. 2022 remains a turning point. Keep the faith. We've made it this far. I keep saying it. You've made it this far. You can make it one more day. You can make it 6 more months. You can make it 1 more year. And even though the way isn't clear from this standpoint, the people that I believe in, including Donald Trump, never show any wavering. And his message of the best is yet to come. I'm not going to let this country fall to socialism. I believe him. And I believe the right people are in charge behind the scenes, and that certain plans, including continuity of government, was put into place. Certain things were put into place by Trump while he was actively in office. And that what is happening now, where we're seeing the egregious behavior of Democrats and Republicans, is being more fully exposed. It's like a 9-year pregnancy. Okay? And again, remember, the first American Revolution took 8 years. 8 years. It's a long time. And George Washington lost 9 of his 12 battles. He lost most of them. But the important thing is winning the war, right? So just remember, you're a soldier. You're made of strong stuff. You can do it. You are doing it. You're not alone. We're all in little cubicles, and we're all feeling desperation to different levels, no matter where we are and because of who we are. Hold the line. People have no money. People are afraid. It's not what this country was designed for. We were designed to thrive and to lead the way and to show the way for freedom and enterprise and ingenuity, conscious capitalism. We will get there. And so whatever it takes, by any means necessary, if you have to watch a true crime story to perk you up, they perk me up because it gets my mind focused on solving something. Take a walk. I walk my dog. I manage, just give yourself credit for what you're made of. You're made of strong stuff. There's more in you than you know, and the best is yet to come. So choose thoughts that give you hope. When you're feeling depressed, sleep it off, take a nap, figure out how to snap out of it, work out, You can do it, but you got to shift the energy somehow. You've got to break up the energy of frustration. So just do something different, no matter what it is. Not something destructive, but personally, I don't think a glass of wine, if that breaks the mood for you, sometimes a cup of coffee breaks the mood for me because it gives me more energy. Blah, blah, blah. I had some coffee before I came on here. So blessings. Be well, hold the line, stay sane, breathe, and as hard as it is to remember that you may feel disconnected, as I do, in my cubicle in New York City, we're all alone together. And I truly believe amazing things. I can't imagine what they're going to be, but I truly believe amazing things are in store for us, and that it will get better, and that it will get better fast. So please be gentle with yourself. Do what you need to do to feel better, and that's going to be different minute by minute, day by day, and hold the line. The world needs you. We need each and every one of us here who have wisdom and insight and humanity to be here for when the shit hits the fan, because that point will come, and our services will be required to help explain what's going on if we're in the mood, because right now I'm so irritated with all the sheep, frankly. It's okay. I don't pretend to be bigger than I am. I'm right now not in the mood to help anyone, I'm helping myself right now by speaking, and hopefully I'm helping some of you by helping you feel maybe a little less alone, Look for things that make you feel better, and little strings of truth, little strings of info, of data. And when you're not finding it, unplug from the computer, get out of the house, read a book, just do something different, and hang in there, okay?